And I really wanted to do it. It was very unusual about this old well, maybe it'll be good, I don't know. But this old vaudevillian living in a theater and a little girl.
At 78 years old, Buddy Hackett had already spent a lifetime making audiences laugh so hard they forgot their own troubles. For decades, he was a lovable chaos in Hollywood, the man with the crooked grin, the unmistakable voice, and the timing so sharp it could silence an entire room before detonating it with laughter. But behind that legendary stage presence was a man carrying insecurities and physical pain that never truly disappeared. Born Leonard Hacker in Brooklyn during the hard years of the 1920s, he grew up poor, overweight, and struggling with Bell's palsy, a condition that permanently changed his face and speech. Kids mocked him constantly, but Buddy discovered something powerful very early in life. If he could make people laugh, they stopped trying to hurt him. Comedy became his shield, then his survival, and eventually the thing that carried him from tiny smoky clubs in the Catskills to Broadway, Hollywood, and television history. Audiences adored him in classics like The Music Man and It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, while an entirely new generation recognized him as the voice of Scuttle in The Little Mermaid. To the public, Buddy seemed indestructible, but privately, his health was collapsing. Severe heart disease and worsening diabetes were slowly destroying his body, and even after doctors warned him he urgently needed bypass surgery, Buddy refused. He believed he could outlast it with medication, stubbornness, and sheer willpower. For a while, he did. Then one night in the mid-1990s, while performing live on stage, everything changed. In the middle of a routine, he suddenly became dizzy, breathless, and disoriented. The man who had controlled audiences for half a century walked off stage and never truly returned. His touring career was over. As the years passed, the physical decline became heartbreaking. Walking across a room exhausted him. The energetic comedian who once hurled himself around stages could barely move through his own home. He withdrew from public life because he could not bear the thought of fans seeing him weak and frail. Through all of it, one person never left his side. His wife, Sherry Cohen. They had been married for nearly 48 years, surviving Hollywood without scandals, separations, or public drama. She had loved him before the fame, before the money, before the applause, and now she watched helplessly as the man she built her life around slowly disappeared piece by piece. In their final years together, the couple retreated quietly to Malibu and devoted themselves to rescuing abandoned animals through their sanctuary work. Buddy rarely performed anymore except for small charity events supporting the rescue center. The spotlight that had followed him for decades faded into silence. Then, in June 2003, after suffering a devastating stroke only days earlier, Buddy Hackett died quietly at his beach house. There were no flashing cameras, no grand final performance, no dramatic farewell. Just a legendary comedian, surrounded by family, slipping away after years of private suffering. He was cremated according to his wishes, leaving behind no public grave, only memories carried by the people who loved him. For Sherry, the devastation truly began after the funeral ended. Friends later said she looked like someone who had lost half of herself. The laughter that had once filled their home was gone, replaced by an unbearable silence. Yet even through the grief, she protected his legacy with dignity, refusing to let the world reduce Buddy Hackett to rumors or tragedy. Because behind the wild jokes and unforgettable voice was a man who spent his entire life turning pain into laughter, even while his own heart was quietly breaking.